Okay, so this video is for realtors and how does AI staging help you or hurt you? So this is an actual property rehab, and this is before anything when we went into the house, so you can tell it was pretty cluttered and a lot of stuff on there. So I used AI to go in and see if I could kind of, clean it up a little bit, and voila, look at there how clean it does it real soon. But you'll notice, you may notice that there's different areas that are just not the same. Like here, there's a crease there because it was separated here. Notice that the faucet's up here, but the sink is over here. So that's another reason. Now, this is the original photo looking out from like the kitchen and the breakfast bar looking into the living area. And this was how AI cleaned it up. But then you'll notice there's not really, didn't really make any changes. Now, this photo is the kitchen after we remodeled it. That's actually the right tile right there and the right cabinets, but the background's different. Notice the AI staging. Notice here, it actually didn't bring the breakfast bar out. So it screwed up there. And here, this was, I just told it to put some trinkets on there and it added in furniture. This dimensions, that furniture wouldn't actually fit. So here's the actual after remodeled picture, just a clean image of the kitchen to give you an idea. And people kind of tend to want to see that more for what it actually is, because they want to visualize their stuff. Maybe they've got a coffee maker. Where am I going to put my coffee maker? Now, this was obviously AI staged at this view. Looks pretty nice, but there's still some inconsistencies there. As you can see, there's more of an angle there to that breakfast bar over on the end. And so that's an actual photo. Now, this was the bedroom, obviously, before we were able to do anything to it. So I told AI to clean it up. And this is the way it did it. There's the black wall. I told it to leave that and gave it the prompts for that. And it showed what it could be, which is pretty good. And there's another angle of it, another view, how to do another. You can still see the vaulted ceilings, which is good. But, I think people want to imagine, what is my bed going to look like? So this was the actual, I got to block out a view here. Right, this was the actual uh, bathroom. And then that's what AI said, hey, let's go with this, all white. But that really wasn't going with the style that we decided to go with. That was just an AI idea. I said, no, I'm going with black. So AI did this design up and looks okay. I mean, you probably do with epoxy. And then this was the actual the countertop over to the right. That's actual the countertop, I do believe. Yeah, but it changed the knobs and everything. The spigots, the handles, everything. That's the actual black granite that we put in there. All right, here's I think like a den area. Original photo, obviously. So, and then this was cleaned up AI staging. It put this furniture in there and it put up the everything, the curtains, the flooring. It changed the flooring too, which is not cool. That's another reason why it's using AI to do this. You got to notice those little changes it makes that you didn't tell it to make. This was the little boy's room. Ooh. And then this is what it was cleaned up and looked like. But we still didn't like that. We went with all white and made it a lot better, carpeted it. Now, this is the AI version of the living area, looking from the front door as you walked in, and it changed the flooring. It's not the flooring we put in, but that was when I told it to clean it up. And that's when I told it to clean it up. And so This is the actual after the new flooring was put in, painted. Everything's been painted. The new the counter, the cabinets. There's the breakfast bar over there leading into the kitchen. Here's another angle looking in. That's the bathroom over on the right. This is an actual photo. There. So now this was outside. This was AI, obviously enhanced. That's really beautiful. It did a great job. It actually added yard lights, but this is a daylight photo of it. And the only difference on this daylight photo is that, I did use Lightroom to kind of enhance the grass and enrich the colors. Now there's an AI version of the back of the house. Now it does give you some pretty good ideas. There was a pool sitting in that area, so it put a fire pit. See where the pool pad was? And so, but that's the actual backyard. So a big difference there. So when you're looking at now there's an AI generated image. This play area here is no longer there, but that's the actual image of the area. We did get rid of the chicken pen in the playground, but that gives you an idea of the differences that it can make. Now this was put into Lightroom, and we give it some deep color, obviously, to really bring out the grass and the flowers and everything. But that's an actual photo of that, just enhanced. So as long as you're not actually changing anything, like how we was at that one, if we go back to it, this one, you can see we really didn't change anything. We just, kind of played with the colorization a little bit. Okay. See what I mean? So we just kind of made it look better, but it was the actual photo of the property. So that's important. So anyway, when it comes to this, I mean, it's what we found was the MLS didn't want us to post those because we have this property actually, and my son did an upload to the MLS and included some of the stage photos, but they were clearly marked that they were staged for, I think, demonstration purposes or something like that. But it was AI stage using AI technology, and things could vary. But they did not publish those. And if you'll take a look at NAR, they have something in their policies about the AI also, and you're not supposed, I think, if it changes lighting or hue or anything like that, it's going against their policies. And then the state of California also really kind of brought it about that um, the the I think you have to mention if you used AI to recreate any kind of images or anything like that. And so they've actually passed some laws on that already. So I'm just kind of letting the video play here. But that will just kind of go to show you what we're looking at. Now, so here's what we're going to get into now. We're going to get into the showings that we've had, some of the showings, and we have another property that we did the same test with and had basically the same things. No, basically NAR, the MLS, NAR, whatever, the MLS did not accept the images that had AI enhancements and staging done to them. However, Facebook on the marketplace, they had no problem with it. Imagine that. But the problem was the feedback that my son was getting as the realtor on this was, um, and what some of the other realtors were getting was, it kind of felt like a bait and switch, like, oh, I was going to expect to see this, kind of like when you go and maybe there's a car and it looks like it's got all the bells and whistles, and it's like, oh no, it's just the basic. But they walk into the house expecting to see that furniture. So then they think, oh, is that a bait and switch? What else are they bait and switching? So that's one of the things that you're really going to have to take into consideration if you're going to do AI staging to your property, to your images. The other thing was I actually saw people coming into the houses and talking to each other and saying, "Oh, the dining room table would look really good over there, don't you think so, babe?" And they were talking about where the couch could go and all this stuff. So when they're going through looking, they're usually already thinking about the furniture that they have. Unless maybe it's somebody PCSing and didn't have time to bring their furniture or want to pay a moving company, they need a place that's furnished. This is going to save them. But to me, I feel like you're narrowing your buyer's pool just too much, when you start putting in AI into your staging, because number one, you're only appealing to a very narrow audience, right? Because who likes that furniture that was in there, like the sofa that was there? It was the beige sofa. Maybe somebody's like, no, I like gray or blue or whatever, Victorian. I don't know, but I think that anytime you put colors on a wall that's not your agreeable grays or whites, I mean, you're flirting with disaster. And that being said, you're just narrowing your buyer's pool. Like there was a playground, as you notice in the back of this one. I got rid of that. I didn't want to narrow my buyer's pool. I realized that one of the first people that came to look at the property was a single guy. He looked back there and saw that play area. Eh, that's something he's got to get rid of. So we got rid of it and cleaned that area up. And so it really makes you think about, you want to be honest with people, and I think that's going to be the most important thing. Just really work on your photography. Use the three-stage photography if you can, where you set like your Canon to take like three photos in a row when you set up your camera, so that you're going to be able to bracket those. I believe it's called bracketing them. And so then you drop those into Lightroom. So if one area is a little bit darker, well, the camera shot it in three different ISOs. So you're going to be able to mesh those together and make all the rooms look really great, like they were lit up perfectly to begin with. So that's how that works. But AI, it's risky. Like you saw a lot of things, like the faucet's not even where it was supposed to go. So in my conclusion, from what we've been seeing, we decided not to use any kind of AI to do our staging because it's kind of like, well, it's kind of like all these people wearing all these, are using all these filters and doing AI to recreate their images, and uh, they're not actually getting what they're supposed to get. Yes, and we've had people say, "Hey, would you rather use photos that have not been, messed with light, like Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom, or Photoshop? Would you rather just have plain photos?" A lot of people say yes, but I can say this. The images that I've worked up, we get more showings when the images have been enhanced, to get the best lighting, the best tones and colors, because the camera just doesn't pick it up on the first run usually, at least for me. So I have to throw it into Lightroom, which I think most photographers do. So I'm just an amateur photographer. But anyway, so that's my take on, using AI for real estate. There is some reasons and some ways you can use AI. And if you ever, want to discuss that with me, just, drop a comment below. And if you have any questions, just be sure and reach out to me. My name is William Xavier Baker. I'm the GBP boss. I do Google Business Profile Management for realtors. So I keep everybody in the top. I make you money. So I make your phone ring. It's up to you to go out and make the money. Okay. So anyway, go ahead and subscribe or like or share this if you want, and reach out if you got any questions. Be sure and put them down here in the comments. I'd like to be able to help you. I had someone on a Facebook group earlier to ask a question about this, and I responded and I'm like, you know what? I need to do a video on that. So I started putting all this together and doing some before and after pictures, stuff I used to clean it up. And then, we ended up doing um, a remodel on the house. So then I went to do it through and I was like, oh, let's go, stage it with the remodeling. I'm like, yeah, no. So just go with natural, let the customer tell the customer how they could go try AI staging or something, or they could pick out furniture somewhere. And I think there's even websites that have that. So, but let the customer do that. Don't narrow your buyer's base, and that's what I'm about. I'm all about marketing. That's my thing. That's what I've been doing for like 3 4 decades. So anyway, but real estate's our game, and I look to see you on the next video. Shoot.